I'm Shannon Dooley, the Marketing Manager for the Solid Waste Services Division. Welcome to the Weekly Report. I'm right outside the Municipal Services Center, which houses our daily operations for the Solid Waste Division. And behind me is one of our new trucks that'll be rolling through one of your neighborhoods soon. Beginning in May, city crews will take over all trash operations throughout the city. Solid Waste Services, which runs trash operations, is in the process of hiring nearly 100 new employees and has purchased 30 additional trucks to our fleet. The new staff are currently in training so we can hit the ground running on May 1. In addition, a state-of-the-art computerized system has been put in place to ensure the most effective, efficient, and customer-focused public service for all Kansas City residents. Trash collection times may vary with the city taking over all trash operations, so it is imperative all residents get their trash to the curb by 7 a.m. Census Day is almost here, and I'd like to encourage everyone to get counted. Census data helps the city receive millions of dollars in federal funding for projects like bus transit, affordable housing, healthcare programs, and the KC streetcar. You will receive a card in the mail with a code to complete the census online. If you don't have access at home, you can visit any KC Community Center or library for assistance. For more information, visit kcmo.gov/census. Let's make sure that Kansas City stands up and gets counted. Planning on coming downtown? KC has launched its new mobile parking app. ParkSmart KC lets you pay for parking at more than 1,500 parking spaces right from your smartphone. Be sure to check out our website at kcmo.gov/parking to get all your parking information, including city-owned garage locations and maps of parking locations across the city. As you know, there's been a lot of news coverage on the coronavirus, and one of the best ways to reduce the spread of illnesses is by washing your hands. Watch this video. For more information on the coronavirus, visit kcmo.gov/coronavirus. Thanks for watching the Weekly Report. I'm Shannon Dooley with Kansas City, Missouri. Now stay tuned for more great videos.
Many people think after a flush, it's all gone. But what we flush ends up here at a wastewater treatment facility. While more people are buying more wipes, we don't want them to end up here. KC Water reminds customers to not discard wipes into the toilet. Manufacturers market these products as flushable, but they do not break down in water. KC Water's wastewater treatment plants use equipment to pull plastics, wipes, and any other items that should not be flushed out of the wastewater before treatment. The items are removed and placed in a dumpster. The wastewater is treated and returned to the Missouri River. KC Water's division engineer Sean O'Kelly says sometimes the equipment can become clogged and even damaged by excessive wipes and other trash.
They're marketed as flushable, but they won't dissolve. And the only thing we want down the toilet are the 3 Ps: pee, poop, and toilet paper, which all dissolve in the water, and then, which is what the treatment plant was built for. That's why we're here, is to collect those 3. The plastics and the felt, the wipes are actually a felt material, and they never break down, just like plastic. So they stay in the environment forever.
Clogged wipes can also cause plumbing problems in homes and backups in KC Water's sewer lines. A recent blockage of debris, which included wipes and gloves, caused a sewer manhole on West 71st Terrace to overflow, which resulted in 28,000 gallons of wastewater overflow. For KC Water, I'm Heather Frierson.
Since 2003, Studios Inc. has played a pivotal role in the community, providing services to artists, public programs and exhibitions, and so much more. Their exhibitions are currently supported by the Neighborhood Tourist Development Fund, and here to tell us all about Studios Inc. and more is Executive Director Courtney Wasson. Courtney, thank you for having us out to Studios Inc.
Thanks for coming.
Now, can you tell me what was the idea behind starting Studios Inc.?
The idea originated with Brad Nicholson, and it was a relationship between him and the artist Lester Goldman. So Brad would go to his studio, which was in his garage, and they developed a friendship, and he saw that Lester had in the rafters artwork tucked up high and down low, and then he's a property developer here. And he had this large building that wasn't being used, and someone came up to him and asked him if he'd be interested in providing studio spaces. And because of his relationship with Lester, he really thought that would offer something to this mid-career artist or other mid-career artists in Kansas City. And he also just really appreciated the art scene. So he wanted to make sure that these wonderful artists were staying in our community so that we could benefit from what they did.
And in addition to the artist residency for mid-career artists, you also have exhibitions of their work throughout the year. As well as an internship program, a patron program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we are primarily an artist residency program, and every program underneath that supports that residency. So the mid-career artists that are here, at the end of their residency, they get an exhibition in our large exhibition hall. And then from the works that they donate throughout their years here at Studios Inc., in this front gallery space, we're able to showcase that work. And so even once an artist has left the program, we can still continue to support them and bring awareness to them and their studio practice and what they do.
And you have how many resident artists at one time?
We have right now 10.
Okay, and then if someone would like to apply to be a resident artist, how would they go about doing that?
So once a year, we do an open call. So it is geared towards mid-career artists, and that is a flexible definition. So someone that's postgraduate, about 7 years, they have an established career, they have an established studio practice, they've shown regionally, nationally, maybe have publications written about them. They apply online, and then we juror that application, and then from that we choose finalists and do studio visits.
Okay, and then your internship program is with students who are interested in being a part of a gallery?
A gallery, they may be interested in having a studio practice. They might want to write or be a curator. So right now we have 2 women who are exhibition interns, and they're primarily responsible for helping install in the big hall. We have 2 gallery exhibition interns, so they're learning the business on how to sell work and promote and market work. We have a social media intern who's focused on building her portfolio and wants to be in marketing and possibly creative director at some point in her career. When a student comes to us, it's really important that we learn what their goals are moving forward. And then we work to tailor what we do here to their goals and aspirations.
And with the patrons program, you pretty much partner the artist with a patron.
Yes, so we have a level that's an artist patron. It's a $5,000 patronage, and they get to sponsor an artist specifically. Outside of our artist patrons, we would love to have a patron at a $10,000 or $65,000 level, but we have multiple levels. We have a $1,000 level, we have a $500. If you want to be a friend of Studios, you could be anywhere from $50 to $500.
And I've been to your First Friday exhibitions, but you have the space open throughout the year. It's not just on First Fridays, and you get tons of people coming through at a time. About how many a year do you think come through the space?
Specifically for the art side, we have about 13,000 to 14,000 people that come through in a year.
And how many would you say are from outside of Kansas City, Missouri?
I would say easily 1 out of 4, 25% are from outside of the Kansas City metro. So it's really nice.
Pretty impressive.
It is. It's really nice, and especially when there's students that are coming to see, and they're learning and they're growing and expanding their knowledge base, and they're doing that with artists here in Kansas City.
And if people want to find out more about upcoming programs, exhibits, panel discussions, where's the best place to go?
I would say 2 places specifically: social media, because we're always posting to that, and our website. We're pretty active. We have a robust website. We have a news and writing section that goes historically down back 10 years. You can search an artist or a medium and find articles on those.
And you also have a few videos on the YouTube channel too, right?
We do. So we started this past year a podcast where we sit down and with an artist or someone related to our program, and we have about a 30-minute discussion.
Great. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for having us out and for sharing information, and we're looking forward to your next exhibition.
Well, thanks for coming.
To learn about additional upcoming events, visit kcmo.gov/ntdf.
Good morning and welcome to Wild Wednesday here at the Kansas City Zoo. I'm your host, Allison, and we're here with Andrea today inside of Stingray Bay. Good morning. So this is one of my favorite buildings here at the zoo.
Great.
It's so peaceful.
Yes.
Even when there are lots of kids around like there are today, they're having a really good time because this is a place where you can come at the zoo any time of year, right?
Yes, so one great thing about this is it's open all year round. So in the winter when it's cold, you can come in and it's nice and warm.
Ooh, it's perfect and I love it, especially when it's nice and toasty in here. So inside of Stingray Bay, we of course have stingrays, but we also have some other animals too. So let's kind of talk about all the species we have inside of the pool.
Sure,
here.
yeah. So currently we have 3 different species. We have the cow-nosed rays, which are these guys right here. They're named cow-nosed rays because the front of their face kind of looks like a cow's nose.
Okay.
We have our southern stingrays, which are right here. They have the more pointy, like triangular shaped nose.
Perfect.
And then we actually have a really small species of shark called a white-spotted bamboo shark.
Okay. Now I've seen a couple of the sharks lurking
Yes.
and swimming around, but I also see over there in the corner, I see them
Yes.
kind of all in a cute little puddle.
Yes.
A little cuddle puddle.
We always have like a pile of sharks in here. So they're mostly nocturnal. So during the day, they're mostly sleeping.
Right.
They'll come out a little bit. You might get 1 or 2 that's like kind of swimming around.
Okay.
But if you want to see the sharks, you got to come in and look around the rock islands. And
Okay.
usually they're all in a big pile all
They're just
together.
a giant family of
Yes.
shark love.
Yes.
I love it. Perfect. Now, of course, these guys live here at the zoo. Where would we find them out in the wild?
Yes, so they're mostly found in the Atlantic Ocean. So
Okay.
if you're in the United States, anywhere up and down the coast,
Yeah.
the East Coast, you can find them. They kind of live differently in the wild. So the cow-nose like to live in very large groups. They migrate in really large groups. You can find thousands and thousands like migrating up and down the coast. The southerns tend to be, they'll either be like solo or just in pairs. They're also the ones that more like to bury themselves in the sand and be more on the bottom of the ocean.
Very cool. So I noticed too, there are multiple levels within this exhibit. So it was created, I guess, to kind of accommodate the lifestyles that these guys would naturally have.
Yes, definitely. So definitely to accommodate that, but also like we like to give them a deeper area. So if they want to get away from the visitors, they can. So we like to give them choices. So if they want to interact with the visitors, they can come up to the more shallow land. If they want to get away from the visitors, they go more into the deeper land.
Everything is designed with intention. I
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Now you mentioned interacting with the public.
Yeah.
So this building is kind of special in that people can get really, really close with the animals.
Yeah, so it's really great here at the Kansas City Zoo. You can come to Stingray Bay and you can actually touch our stingrays or you can feed our stingrays.
Okay.
So we have a couple of different opportunities for you to enjoy them. And I think, people in general, anything you get to touch or interact with, it makes it all the more
Well,
better.
hello! That's so cute.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's okay.
Even just watching
I just
them
say you
is
just
great,
proved
yeah.
the point right there,
Yes.
didn't you?
Yes.
So you get an opportunity to come and touch, and like you mentioned, we can feed them as well. Now it's really important. When I first came in the building, there were some very important instructions.
Yes.
And one of those things was to wash my hands,
Yes.
but there was no soap.
Right.
So I'm confused.
Yeah, so these guys are very sensitive to anything going in the water. We have a great water quality system set up for them to take away anything bad that might be in the water that might harm them. But soaps and lotions and stuff like that can irritate them. So we ask when you come in that you wash up to your elbows because you always get a lot deeper than you think you're going to get trying to touch them. But we don't provide soap because we don't want any of that soap going into the water that could potentially harm them. You have to think these guys aren't just like swimming in the water, they're breathing the water. All of their life is in that water, so it's really important that we keep it really clean for them.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. It's simple things like that we just don't think about.
Right.
But these animals, they need us to think about those things in order to survive here in this fun little pool. All right, now when you get to the pool, after you've washed your hands and you find a spot here at the pool, it may take a while for the animals to come up to you.
Yeah.
Because again, it's all about choice. But when one finally does decide to lurk your way, what then happens? What's the appropriate way to touch our friends?
So we do have some instructions, mostly to keep you safe, to keep the animals safe.
Perfect.
So we ask that you touch with 2 fingers.
2 fingers.
Down along the back. We don't want you to touch their face or their tails, just because 1, they don't like it, and 2, it's more of a risk if you're touching in those areas. But kind of down the back is the safest place to touch. So if they come up here, we can see, you definitely want to push your shirt sleeve up. But the 2 fingers is just so you don't accidentally grab them, don't accidentally scratch them, but then you're able to just kind of touch along their backs. They're very soft. You can get a great feel with just 2 fingers, so it's definitely plenty to be able to use the 2 fingers.
And you can stay in here as long as you want. So I know some people are like, oh, I'm only going to get a quick opportunity. No, you can stay in here all day.
Yeah, and I think a good tip is to actually find a spot and wait rather than trying to run around the pool, because they're always gone by the time you get to a spot where they just were, So it's good to just pick a spot, kind of wait for them to come over. The cow-nose rays are definitely more friendly than the southerns. The southerns will come over, but the cow-nose seem to really enjoy the interactions with the people. Even if you don't have food, they'll come over just to say hi.
Just to say hi, and we've seen that a couple of times. We've seen some waves today. So we do know there is a touch opportunity here, but there's also feeding opportunity, and feeding is a little different. So explain how feeding goes here in Stingray Bay.
So these guys don't have teeth like you and me, like you would think of. They more have called crushing plates. So, and they have that because they eat a lot of clams and crustacean and fish in the wild, so they need something that can crush through those shells. So when we do feed fish here mostly. The visitors will feed fish, but we don't want your fingers to accidentally get in their mouth. Yes, exactly. So they don't intentionally bite. They don't come after you trying to bite, but if your finger is in the way, it might get sucked up into their mouth. So we do try to have you feed a certain way. So I have some fish here I can kind of show you.
Yeah, let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, great.
So this is lake smelled. It's one of the fish that the visitors get to feed.
Okay.
So we ask that you kind of hold it between your fingers like this. I'm going to give you a fish too.
Oh
so
my
you can
goodness.
Participate
All right,
as well.
here we go.
So, and then when you put it in the water, you either want to put it flat on the wall like this, or all the way down on the bottom flat like that. And the reason is, they're going to come over the top of you and they're going to grab the fish and suck it out of your hand.
Okay.
So if you're holding it like this, your fingers are in the way.
Okay.
So we don't want you to accidentally suck your fingers up in their mouth.
Okay.
So a nice flat hand, and then they'll come up and kind of suck it out of your hand.
Let's give it a try. I do, yeah.
And they're kind of like a little vacuum cleaner. They'll just suck it right up out of your hand. Or sometimes they have trouble finding it.
Am I not being helpful? Here, I'll come up. Do you know? Can you sense that I'm a little nervous giving you this fish? I get it. It
is fun to watch all the people feeding, because it is kind of intimidating when they're coming up to take the fish, and some people pull their hands out right before they get it, and some people, drop it, but
it's so slippery. I'm like, no, I don't want to drop your delicious meal. I'll try again when somebody comes over. Well, what kind of fish are we actually feeding these guys today?
This is lake smelt. The visitors will feed lake smelt and capelin.
Okay.
The keepers will also feed shrimp. We do give them a vitamin twice a week, so the shrimp is kind of more valuable, so we save that for vitamins, so that we make sure they all get their vitamins.
Nicely done. Very cool. So these guys get vitamins like us? What do they need vitamins for?
Yeah, they just get a multivitamin. The fish do lose some of their nutrients because it all comes in frozen, so through the thawing process they lose some of their nutrients. So we just give them a vitamin just to make sure that we're kind of supplementing all those vitamins that are lost.
That's really cool. I mean, and we have to do that too as human beings. We have to take vitamins to make sure we're getting everything we need. So that's really
very similar.
That's really fun. Oh my God. Well, these guys are super, super cool. We've learned how to touch them. We got to remember, wash your hands when you first come in here. The 2-finger scientific touch is very important. And then also making sure that when we feed them, we've got that flat hand either on the bottom or on the side of the glass, which is really cool. Now, there's one more thing. People hear the word stingray, and they
Yes.
get a little frightened at that word at the front of the animal's name.
Yeah.
So how can you ease our minds about
Sure.
that?
Yeah. So these guys do have barbs. They're at the base of their tail, but here at the Kansas City Zoo, we trim them to make sure that they're not sharp and pointy, so that nobody will get stung. But I will say, like, these guys don't actively seek other animals or things out to sting. It really is just a defense mechanism for them.
Right.
So the only time they're even going to attempt to use it is if they feel threatened, scared, things like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't normally feel that way. They're not going to come chasing after you trying to sting you. I think that's kind of a myth that some people think. They really just use it if you're trying to hurt them, they're going to use it to try to get away from you. But like I said, there's nothing to be worried about here at the Kansas City Zoo because we trim their barbs, we make sure that they can't sting you.
Yeah.
And we check them pretty much every day to make sure, and we trim them like periodically because they kind of grow like your fingernails, so they do grow back, but we make sure that there's no chance of being stung here.
So this is a very safe place here at
Yes.
Stingray Bay. We make sure you stay safe, and we make sure our animals get to stay safe too.
Yes.
Andrea, this was really cool.
Great.
And I'm so glad I conquered a fear today in feeding a stingray. It's taken several
Glad
months
I
for me
could
to be
help
able to do
you.
that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, it's been really fun here at Stingray Bay. Now you guys have seen these guys and you love them. Make sure you come see them in person. However, I will say, I've got a challenge for you. There is one more stingray on grounds here at the Kansas City Zoo, but she's a little different. And I'm gonna let you go and try and find her. I'll give you one clue. She likes tropical weather. So make sure you go and try and find our friend Billy Ray here at the Kansas City Zoo. But until then, thank you so much,
Yes,
Andrea, for
thank
such a
you.
fun time. And
Yes.
we'll see you next time for Wild Wednesday. Bye, guys.